Coming up on this edition of Outlook TV.
The Prairie Fairy Fowl Supper.
Casa Fall at the Vancouver Playhouse.
Vancouver International Film Festival.
The Sex Now Survey.
East Side Pride.
The Cutting Edges hockey team.
And Purple Letters. Welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Dan Doomshaw. This is a show that brings you the queer stories from Vancouver.
We're going to cover entertainment, cultural events, and sports. All of it right here.
First up, our reporter Skylar Bear attended the Prairie Fairy Fowl Supper in early November.
It's not a flash mob, it's the Hot Flash Hoofers. And they're going to teach Skylar how to tap dance.
Nothing kicks off a good old Prairie tradition than the annual Fillmore Fowl Supper here in Vancouver. The origins of the Fowl Supper start off in an old-fashioned Prairie tradition.
It's very much of a Prairie cultural phenomena. Those of us who grew up in the Prairies would know and love a fowl supper very well. At the end of harvest, the local ladies auxiliary would host a fowl supper, and a group of transplants from Saskatchewan to Vancouver a number of years ago now, I guess 12 plus, decided that it would be fun to go to a fowl supper, but then we sadly realized that we wouldn't be able to find one of those in Vancouver, so we decided to host our own.
I slept in shanties, dressed up in old Sally Ann.
The Queen of the Prairies herself, Linda Fillmore, reveals how the Prairie Fairy Fowl Supper became so big.
It was an accident. It really was. It was 60 people in the basement of Christchurch Cathedral on Burrard Street in 1997. It was supposed to be one time only. We cooked all the food in our apartment downtown, hauled it to the church, sold tickets for $10, had $150, gave it to a loving spoonful. We took a break, and then people wanted us to do it again, and so we did. And so we had 200 people at Capri Hall. Then we had 350 people at the Roundhouse for a few years, and now we've been here for several years, and 700 people plus. As long as we don't phone the fire department, we're fine.
The Fowl Supper raises money for charitable organizations. This year's Fowl Supper beneficiaries include McLaren Housing of BC, Out in Schools, and Loving Spoonful.
We are one of the major beneficiaries from the Fowl Supper. We get a substantial amount of money every year, and it goes directly into our portable subsidies.
We're here to have a good time, but also to fundraise for our charity and to promote what Out in Schools does and let our community know all the great work we're doing.
So we're upstairs here on the balcony, where behind me we have a whole bunch of items that are up for silent auction. All proceeds to the silent auction go to Loving Spoonful charity. As you can see, we've got some pretty neat items here. We've got I guess we've got a tablet, got a Canucks jersey, we've got wine, we've got lotions, and there's a bunch of amazing things here that you could take home just by donation.
The silent auction was incredible. We had over 140 items, and it was a record-breaking year. We raised over $15,000 to support a Loving Spoonful.
And of course, there's amazing entertainment that keeps the spirit of the supper alive all night. I thought I'd get involved with some of tonight's action with the ladies of the Hot Flash Hoofers.
Now we're going to do a shuffle.
A shuffle? Okay.
Brush back,
Brush back,
down,
down.
again. Brush back, down. Okay, again.
Even though I don't have two left feet, it'll sure take me a while to catch up to the talents of these dancers. If you want to attend this exciting supper next year, you can go to their website at fillmorefamily.ca and check out the events. For Outlook TV, this is Skylar Bear.
Dancing, food, and fundraising sounds like a winning combination.
Up next, we've got Fred Camperman at the 2011 VIFF. He's going to look at the queer Asian films that have come out.
I got up with Tony Raines, the programmer for the Dragon and Tigers portion of the Vancouver International Film Festival, and got his opinion on queer Asian films.
One of the striking things in many of the East Asian cultures in recent years has been the emergence of queer cinema. At a modest indie level in most cases, but these are countries in East Asia which on the whole are only just beginning to come to terms with the whole notion of gay liberation. They're a little bit out of phase with Western countries in that respect, maybe 20 years behind. One good example would be the Korean director Kim Kyung-mok. He's been moving from what you might call the shadows with faceless things to something far closer to the center with stateless things, while not surrendering one shred of his gay identity or any of his interest in marginal characters, the way that gay people in particular, tend to be marginalized in Korean society.
I got Kim Myuk's perspective of queer films in Korea.
In the past, there's not many queer films, but nowadays people produce the gay themes and queer themes films, and there's I think there's fans of queer films as well in Korea. So mostly they are like women who who like to see gay and boy lovers. Though the government doesn't really accept those kind of voices, different kinds of voices,
Japan's transgender director Izuka-san explains what is happening in queer films in Japan.
Because it's still something fairly new and something that's not in the eyes of the broad public, in the general public. That right now we're still in a learning stage. That the sexual minority is just being known to the public right now.
The Filipino director Charles Beebs tells us about the state of queer films in the Philippines.
My personal observation about what's happening on queer cinema in the Philippines right now. Around 6 years ago, there was There was a number, actually several gay films that have been shown in the Philippines, and most of them are love stories or skin flicks, and it has evolved into soft porn. Unfortunately, the market has been saturated this past few years, and there were not as much gay films that were shown in the Philippines compared to what it was like 5 to 6 years ago.
As the Vancouver International Film Festival expands its Dragon and Tigers programming, you can expect to see more and more queer films coming out of Asia. For Outlook TV, I'm Fred Camperman.
Now over 10 years old, the Health and Sex Survey for Men continues on.
Our reporter Shane Forrester meets with some of the researchers to find out more about this project.
The survey is now online, so there's no excuse not to participate.
The Sex Now survey was started in 2001 as a province-wide survey. In the last 2 years, it's gone national.
We're a survey trying to investigate a diverse issue around gay men's health. So last year, our focus was on mental health, for example. So this year, for 2011, we're trying to get a bit more information about gay men's experience with work, with like their environment, with the gay community, and how those are affecting their health.
The information coming from the survey is important to gay men's health organizations.
We share the result as well with community group in our organization. Such locally, we work with the Health Initiative for Men, so they can use our result to actually plan their program and plan health promotion for gay men. One good example of one of our findings that we have found in the past was that the availability of condoms was a barrier for gay men in Vancouver, and that has led him to actually develop a condom distribution program. So there's very concrete action that are a result of our survey.
The CBRC put together a mentorship program to help develop the 2011 version of the Sex Now survey.
Well, it took us about 4 months to get the survey to the way it is, and we really had to think hard about it because once it's out there, any changes that we make to it would damage the credibility of the results. So we wanted to make sure that nothing was worded ambiguously, that everybody really honed in on answers that were relevant to the gay community.
The survey is being promoted in a number of different ways.
HIM is lending some of its resources. They've put some articles on their blog. They're tweeting about it, retweeting us, helping us on Facebook and through other social media, and they're going to be putting it in their their upcoming newsletter.
So you can do the survey anywhere, I suppose.
Yeah, it was designed so that it was very mobile, so you can do it on your laptop if you have a internet connection, but you can also do it from your smartphone if you're in the back of a cab on the way to the club. It only takes about 20 minutes, and it's all set up for all platforms.
Do you need to log in or anything?
No, it's basically a push start and go. It doesn't ask for any sort of identifiers or email addresses or names, so you just launch right into it.
More gay men have become aware of the survey.
Had a lot of positive responses, like people, they see Sex Now and it's almost a part of our community, so they see it and they realize that this is gay guys helping to strengthen gay guys' health. So they'll see the Sex Now logo and they'll be like, oh, I did that with my friends last year, I should do that again.
You can do the survey at www.sexnowsurvey.com. For Outlook TV, this is Shane Forster.
Thanks for that story, Shane. We remind our viewers to fill out the Sex Now survey online.
Please stay tuned. After the break, we're taking you to Eastside Pride at the Cobalt.
Sexy Hamburglar coming at you from the Cobalt.
Welcome back to Outlook TV, where we're bringing you the hottest stories from queer Vancouver.
And speaking of hot, Stephen Schelling takes us from the West End neighborhood to East,
where the party is just getting started for Halloween.
They say go west, young man, but these days the gay traffic seems to be moving in a more easterly direction, thanks to Peach Cobbler and Brandon Gockel, promoters of the monthly Queer Bash dress-up parties at Main Street's The Cobalt.
The idea of Queer Bash itself was sort of a reclaiming of what would be considered a very violent term, and we're actually throwing a queer party, a queer bash, which became a mashup of two different themes every month, something versus something else, much like the Sharks and the Jets in West Side Story.
Still not convinced that there's nightlife outside the West End? You don't have to take their word for it. Why don't you come with us?
This East Side story started way back when Brandon and Peach met at an oddball party at Wise Hall.
What blew my mind coming from Toronto when I first went to Oddball was, I was on the dance floor with a middle-aged lesbian and a bear and a bunch of little twinks and some like big sort of pumped up muscle jocks. And I thought, and I was dressed as Jean-Benet Ramsey. And I thought, this is magical because it's just so rare to find all of those people in one space. Not even at Pride do you see all those people standing side by side in one space.
And we took performance from that as well. Like their shows were very performance driven as well. So we wanted to invest money in performers and talent and make sure that, that's part of the nightlife.
We don't just expect them to give us money at the door and then get out of our face, that we really are here to celebrate what everyone's bringing into this room.
We love Queer Bash. We come to every single one.
Always. Every month. It's a really good mix of people. You get people from all parts of the city, but also sort of like all segments of the queer community. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I love Queer Bash because it's quirky with no attitude, and you could be like in a half-assed outfit like this and still get interviewed on television, which I love.
Because even a pregnant woman needs to get her groove on.
I love that they mixed the downtown gay community with the east side, and they've got a good mix of like the glamour and the trash.
I think you maybe have an opportunity to be more messy on the east side without being noticed. So I think that's one of the great things about Queer Bash is you can come party and no one's really gonna judge you for it.
Yeah, like all of a sudden we do have a de facto gay bar on the east side that just happens to not be gay some days of the week.
Yeah, 3 of those days.
Looking to discover a little East Side pride of your own? Visit queerbash.blogspot.com for information on the next Cobalt party. For Outlook TV, this is Stephen Shaw.
All right, it's time to get a little sporty. Our reporter Clement Seablaze catches up with the cutting edges.
They're Vancouver's gay and lesbian hockey team.
Vancouver's gay hockey club, the Cutting Edges, was formed in 1994 to compete in the gay games in New York that same year.
So that was the first year that we sent a team to play in a tournament outside of the city. And then we started playing in straight leagues in Vancouver. So we're approaching our 20th anniversary in 2014.
While being an openly gay hockey team like the Cutting Edges, it was important to some of the players that there was an openly gay hockey team. But in the present, it's all about the love of the game.
When I was 20 or so, just kind of figuring out who I was and coming out, that was really important. To be honest, later on, it's less important now to me than it was previously. It's still an important factor, and I really enjoy the charitable work we do outside of the arena as well, off the ice, being part of the community, so that's really great.
I don't know, I think you are who you are and you like what you like, and I've liked hockey my whole life, and I'm having a good time with it, and I mean, our team's mixed. It's not all just straight and gay, it's mixed. So, yeah, we all come out and have a great time, so.
Well, it didn't matter to me, and I actually ran into a friend of mine from Prince George, where I'm from, Brent Brown, and he invited me to play, and so, yeah, I came out. I hadn't played for quite a few years, so it was good.
Homophobic slurs that are usually found in hockey games are now a thing of the past.
I would say they're extremely rare. I have maybe heard it in the last 10 years. Playing for the Cutting Edges for about 6 of those past 10 years, I maybe have heard it once. It's extremely infrequent, and I don't even know when it happened last. So it's a non-issue, which is great.
Not just all fun and games, the club raises funds for their favorite charity, the Dr. Peters Center, who Dr. Peters himself was known to lace up his skates for a game of hockey.
I'm not sure the exact numbers, but we've contributed over about $20,000 to the Dr. Peters Center over the years. So we do a number of fundraising events every year, and we do give a portion of those proceeds to the Dr. Peters Center. So it's been a nice relationship and really nice to give back to the community. So.
There are a few ways of getting involved with the Cutting Edges Hockey Club.
If they know anyone that plays on the team, or it's a friend of a friend, just get in touch with them, because there's no one specific person that's for recruiting. It's whoever knows anyone and whoever can bring people in. A great way would be to contact the website, which is cuttingedges.com, and just get in touch that way. Quite a few of our guys did it that way.
For Outlook TV, I'm Clement Seablaze.
Do you want Christy Clark and the Minister of Education to know how homophobia has affected you?
Well, you can send a purple letter. Skip Johnson tells us how.
Leah Bay, a grade 12 Vancouver student, isn't just writing any letter, she's writing a purple letter as a way to help end homophobic bullying in schools. Ryan Clayton and friend Caitlin Burnett have created a project called the Purple Letter Campaign to encourage BC schools to include explicit sexual orientation and gender identity policy to help prevent homophobic bullying. Having explicit policy has been shown to help students feel more comfortable in school.
EGAL Canada came up with a study that said that schools that have an explicit policy on gender identity and sexual orientation, students feel much safer approaching their administration, they feel safer in their school, and therefore much more comfortable being there. We came up with the idea to do a letter writing campaign based on that vigil, based on the theme of the It Gets Better project, and sharing stories and bringing these real, true stories to light.
The campaign encouraged students and former students to write letters to George Abbott, the Minister of Education, to express their concerns or experiences with homophobic bullying and discrimination. Vancouver District Student Council President and grade 12 student Leah Bay has witnessed this type of bullying firsthand in her own school.
I've seen it happen, and I deal with other sorts of bullying, and I did understand that that kind of discrimination shouldn't be something that anyone should ever have to deal with.
The letters were then all put into purple envelopes, brought to Victoria, and presented to the Minister of Education to highlight the issues and problems that students have experienced. The response was positive.
Very comfortable with the language that we were using, so this isn't new things to him. He was very knowledgeable, but he recognized that we're bringing something to his attention that he may not have been completely aware of. So it was really good. We left feeling very optimistic, feeling very positive, and looking forward to what comes out over the next year, 6 months to a year, that they do policy revisions and they look at the letters and actually read them and try to respond to them.
Having now delivered the letters and recommendations, time will tell what the minister decides to do with regards to including the new policies.
Over the next 4 months or so, they'll be doing that, and so we kind of just sit and wait for now, because there's very little more we can do until we start seeing what they're actually planning on developing. And then once that happens, we'll start looking at what kind of follow-up we need to do, or whether there is any follow-up we need to do, because really, this could come to a point where he just does what we ask. Could be that simple. Otherwise, we'll keep on him. I hope we don't have to do a full-out letter campaign again.
Even though the Purple Letter campaign has now concluded, Ryan still encourages you to write to your government officials and tell them your stories and experiences. For Outlook TV, this is Skip Johnson.
Next up, can I buy a vowel?
Fred Camperman spells out what the GBLTTQQII actually means.
Today, the GBLTTQQI community has even more letters than ever before. In fact, you can't even make a decent word in Scrabble. G is for gays, B is for bisexuals, L is for lesbians, T is for transgender, male to female, female to male. T is two-spirited, used for the West Coast natives. Q is for queer, old school. Another Q for questioning, 50% not sure. I for inquisitive, 25% not sure. And another I for intersex, the former hermaphrodite. Some people say that this is getting ridiculous and that it's more than a mouthful. But some of us want more than a mouthful. And if you really want to be inclusive, you might be saying, "Please, sir, can I have some more avocado soup?" What about another Q for queen? And the subgroups, RQ, rice queen, and DQ, drag queen, and OQ, old queen. And what about LL for the subgroup lipstick lesbians? Or D for dyke? And what about BD for bull dyke? No matter if we use even more than 26 letters than the GBLTTQQII, it's important that we stay sexually inclusive. Just like the rainbow flag with all its colors, it is a spectrum of sexuality. Now, there are some people who want to blend in and be part of the norm, whatever that is. Okay, I'm gay, but I'm not transsexual. That is why you have your own letter, and they have theirs right next to yours. On the other hand, instead of more labeling of letters, why not remove them all? Some people call it gay marriage. I just call it marriage. I don't have a gay lunch or gay park my car. Okay, some people say I gay park my car, but you get my point. But unfortunately, society isn't there yet where everybody is universally accepted in. Until then, the GBLTTQQI community is about not blending in, but about accepting in. And until then, it doesn't matter how many letters you need to expel out your own sexuality, just grab a letter, any letter, and be proud of it. For Outlook TV, I'm Fred Camperman.
Connie Smudge is feeling even more glamorous than usual.
This week she finds herself at the Vancouver Playhouse, speaking with all the girls about the upcoming run of a gay classic.
Fluff your feathers.
Gather all your glitter.
And get ready to enter the world of Casa Fall.
Hi, kittens. It's the unstoppable Connie Smudge, your intrepid reporter, reporting live from the rehearsal hall where Casa Fall are hard at work at putting a fabulous production on. It's starting November 26th to December 24th. I just have to find the rehearsal hall. There it is. Come on in. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to bring you behind the curtain. And look who it is. It's Iona Whip. Say hi, girl.
Hi, everyone.
She's a big star. What's your character's name? Who are you playing in Casa Fall?
I'm playing Derma.
Brasian?
Yes.
It's very exciting. I managed to sneak some time with the cast to tell me about the audition process.
Yeah, I auditioned. I think I did 2 or 3 auditions, and it was a final callback for Jacob, the maid, and it kind of evolved into a variety of things, and now I'm Mercedes. Yes.
Fantastic. Iona?
There was actually a showcase at Apocalyptic. Isolde and Barron and Peach Cobbler put on this fabulous showcase, and they invited all of us to come down, and they used it as an audition.
So, ladies, you're going to be going from the beginning top of the show.
I dragged assistant director Isolde and Barron away from rehearsals just so she could talk about a few things with the show. What has been your biggest triumph and your biggest challenge with this group?
With this group? I think that the biggest challenge was that we started rehearsing with the Queens part-time before the rest of the company comes on board, the rest of the professional actors came on board. And so the challenge was to start rehearsing without having everybody there in the room. So, you're going to be acting with a person who's imaginarily there. It was a little bit tricky. The most rewarding thing, I think, is seeing how quickly the Queens are picking up everything. It's not like there's a divide between the actors and the Queens. We're just one big company that's really coming together to create a fantastic show.
I'm part of Broadway. Okay, we're rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, just guess what I heard from the director. Oh my God, guess what?
You're going to be dance captain and you're going to teach Connie some of the moves. What do we think?
Oh.
Yeah?
No, I'm almost on Broadway.
All
right, let's get this going.
Kick in the air.
Kick in the air.
Cross it over.
Cross it over.
Up in the air.
Up in the air.
Back on the ground.
Back down.
Same thing on the other
Wait,
leg.
my heel fell off.
That happens. Hazards of the trade, dear.
Okay, let's do this again.
I know.
Well, here, I'll just tie it in a knot. Okay, here we go.
All right,
Okay, I can do it. I remember.
Ready?
Up, down, up, over.
Other leg.
Up.
A good time to check out what's happening with this show is going to the fundraiser. It's called Glam.
If you're a drag fanatic, come out on the 20th for a fundraiser that my friend Kamel Toe, our Empress of Vancouver, is putting on for Community. And the proceeds from that are going to go to Community, BC's Queer Resource Centre.
Oh, hi. This is your intrepid reporter, Connie Smudge, reporting live from the rehearsal hall. That was a lot of fun, but a lot of work. And let me just say one line from the fabulous production. It takes a lifetime to become the best that we can be. We have not the time or the right to judge each other. It's one life, and there's no return and no deposit. One life. So make sure you like what's in your closet. Casa Fall, Playhouse Theatre, November 26th to December 24th. Be there.
Well, that was fun. It's really great to be back on the air after a 10-year hiatus.
I guess we'll see you next in 2021.
Not really. We'll be back next month with a brand new show.
Do you have a story that you think we should cover? Would you like to join our team? Drop us an email at volunteer@outlooktv.ca and let us know what you think.
Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.